Salutations Araxians and welcome to PlanetSide 2 Sneak Peeks. I'm Margaret Crone and today we have an interview with Matt Broome. He's a character lead here at Sony Online Entertainment. So follow me. Thank you so much for meeting with me today, Matt.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, so let everyone else out there know what you do for PlanetSide 2.
Okay, I'm character lead on PlanetSide 2, which basically means that everything to the characters, the way they look, their aesthetics, their attachments, we take care of that in this office.
Awesome. That's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Right out there. All right, so I want to get straight into the questions. We got a lot of questions from people on Twitter. A lot of them really like helmets.
Yeah,
so
helmets are cool.
expect a lot of helmet stuff going on. But our first question here is from Ryan Eckelbarger, and I'm probably going to pronounce these terribly wrong, so I'm really sorry. And his name is @thebarlum on Twitter, and he says, Matt, how did you get started in the industry as an artist, and do you have any tips for someone looking to get a foot in the door?
Yeah, I got into the industry actually being a professional illustrator. I drew for Marvel and DC Comics. I actually still do. I still do that freelance. And the best way to really get started, I mean, I think this sounds obvious, but it's true, is just do what you love. You don't really worry about the money, you do what you love. And that'll probably lead you to places like college or specialty schools like, Art Institute is a really good school. If you're just doing it on your own, get yourself published no matter where. Now that there's online media, there are a lot of great places to get published. DeviantArt comes to mind. There's so many places that you can be discovered now, as opposed to when I got in. So I would say get your artwork out there, get it published, get it in front of people because they're there looking anyway and lurking on these sites.
Lurking.
Yeah, everybody's lurking. I just say I still go to DeviantArt to this day to just take a look at different trends that people are doing.
Well, there's a lot of artists like from other companies and our company who put their art out there, and it's beautiful.
Absolutely. Every time somebody finishes a project now, you don't even have to guess like what the current trends are. They do these massive art dumps like on Polycount, on Deviant. So you can go in there and look and see what the current trends are, what the style is, what kind of rendering types are doing. The big thing right now is rendering over 3D objects. So that's one big thing, is everyone's not necessarily creating all their bases from finding their palette and putting good shapes together. They're making 3D primitives, putting ambient occlusion on them, then painting over them in Photoshop. So a great way to get into business is kind of do what we do, because that's going to get you noticed and get you discovered. And another great way is to publish your stuff where people can actually see it in a business like Polycount or DeviantArt.
All right, those are good tips.
Yeah.
Our next question is from Robert Harris, and he's asking us, when you have to come up with a concept, what do you use as inspiration, or do you just come up with it all on your own?
Robert, you never come up with it on your own. We're always finding reference. So if we're doing something like flak armor and body armor, we're going to go find body armor. You're going to go to all the major suppliers. You're going to be looking at what real armor and defensive companies are doing, like Lockheed Martin. You're going to NASA, believe it or not. You're looking at spacesuits. You're going to places like SpaceX and looking at test flights. The more information that you can get, the more reference that you can find on how these things look in a contemporary world, the better guesses you can make about how they would look sci-fi or futuristic. So a lot of the times that you're actually doing the art and doing the concepts, you're researching what they look like in a conventional world, and you're trying to basically guess what these contemporary items feel like, depending on the script from designers 20, 30, 40 years from now. That's going to be your best design work. The stuff you make up a lot of times doesn't look like it works, no matter what your best attempt is. And you'll look back on it maybe even in an hour or 2 hours, and you really can't figure out what's broke or wrong. But when you get really good reference, like we're working on some hats right now. We'll just say,
we're working on helmets. We don't wear hats.
Hats and helmets is a good way to say it. But basically, you go and you look at things like paintball helmets, and you look at things like motorcycle helmets, and you look at things like ski mask, and you look at things like body armor and tactical gear. And that's where your best ideas come from, because a lot of times you can outsmart yourself. You can do the coolest design in the world, and you go online and you see something in Popular Science that just blows away what you spent 1 week thinking was original. So the obvious answer would be to go out, get really good reference, do your homework first, and then that's going to give you a good silhouette and a good impression of what you put on the canvas later.
That's a really good idea. I think that having a foundation is always good. I think in design, coding, whatever you're doing, it's nice to have somewhere to reference, like, this is what someone else has done, and this is something that I can build upon.
Oh yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's what we do in real life and in general. We think about something and we're like, all right, how can we make this even better? And I think that we do that as a game company. We're like, all right, let's make an FPS game and let's make it the most amazing game ever compared to something else that you've seen. But you're still seeing things that you have experienced in real life, and I think that's something that, you know, I think we all take for granted.
And you can't fake it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't fake it. When you actually see something, and you're completely right, because a lot of times the artist you cannot shut down. You're going to a movie, you're thinking about where the cameras are, you're watching a cartoon, you're thinking about, man, how many people did it take to animate that scene? And you can't shut down. I always joke, it's hard for me to go sit and watch anything and just look at it from a voyeuristic standpoint. I'm always studying it, going, what lighting did they use, how many cameras? You know, like right now we're doing this interview and I'm looking at how many lights, how can I set this up in my garage? You know, so when I do my YouTube spots, I want to make it look like this.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think you can ever turn off.
No, as a designer, I feel the same way. When I'm playing other games, I'm looking at everything and I'm like, oh, how does the system work? I really like this. Or, oh gosh, what did they do? What kind of tools do they have? You know, like those are kind of the things that are running through my head as well.
We'll get in trouble if we mention other games, but I know exactly what you mean.
All right, let's probably go to another question before we get ourselves in trouble. Our next question is from Christopher Larson at Clown Phoenix, and he says, what's your inspiration for the characters' designs? And we kind of went over a little bit of that, but for the character design in PlanetSide 2 specifically, what were your inspirations?
PlanetSide 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, PlanetSide 1 was one of the first inspirations because it's kind of funny, there were really good designs on PlanetSide 1, but there wasn't really good technology to support so many characters drawn on a screen at one time.
We did a pretty good job, I think, a little ahead of time. But
yeah, but it's like even back then, it looked good for then, but it didn't look great like the technology now.
Oh, no.
Because now we have things like, you know, cube map details and stuff we didn't have before. So we're able to actually share materials across multiple characters. And even though we could do that before, it was just textures, not materials. So PlanetSide 2, my biggest inspirations were PlanetSide 1, conventional, you know, military armor and gear. And it was just, it's kind of fun now because we're getting into new stuff now. And I don't mean, you know, yeah, we're
really cool.
We're getting away from the default armor and we're starting to get into alternate default armor and alternate helmets. And it's kind of fun because we get to start widening the gap of the influence of PlanetSide. And while we're in the development cycle pre-launch, it's really not something that any of us really could do, that we can do now. We can start to expand PlanetSide 2. So right now my biggest influences are PlanetSide 1, going on to different fan sites and stuff like planetuniverse.com or planetsiteuniverse.com.
Yeah.
They're fantastic resources because you've got everything we've ever made, and you've even got data relevant to what was made. And you can just plug that into the design. So I feel like they're making my job easier.
They do. You guys make our jobs easier, no doubt. You come up with crazy ideas, design, you know, like systems, art, UI. You know, they come up with some awesome things.
And you get to see all the fans' notes and stuff like that. You know,
a lot of that.
Where fans will be like, you know, why don't you guys do this? And why don't you guys do this? And you're just like, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
You just go to Google, yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, some of the stuff you're just like, that's like the worst idea ever. But there's some stuff you go in there and it's just like, that's a really good idea. And you start getting key searches and stuff and start echoing out in there. And there's actually a forum I saw recently where a guy was going there, you know what kind of helmet would be cool? And he put a post in there on a PlanetSide Universe. And I was like, that is kind of cool. So I went in there and started anchoring like different search things to it and started looking at different influences from French helmets. So, you know, you find inspiration everywhere. And with the internet, it's just a lot easier now.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that we're finally getting to the point where, you know, we've fulfilled a lot of the PlanetSide, the original PlanetSide stuff. And we're still pumping out some more stuff with the vehicles and whatnot that are going to bring back those memories for players who are original PlanetSide players. But I'm mostly looking forward to the new stuff that we're putting out there that's going to give PlanetSide 2 its foundation.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
I think we all are. I think everybody's excited that we got the launch, you know, that we got the game in place, that we got a fun, playable game that's stable. But I think the whole team now is really excited, like, you know, even with the GPU PhysX stuff and the things that just require a lot of time to get tuned and get right, not to affect performance. And also on the character side, it's the same thing, which, you know, I would love the point where we can start getting into particle effects and animated, you know, materials on characters.
Yeah, on your characters.
Yeah, there's just so much stuff that we have to look forward to.
The only thing that we have to worry about with that is not giving away people's locations and stuff with too much frill.
You mean like more glow?
Yeah, like
we need more glow.
He wants
That's
more
a great
glow.
idea. We need more glow.
Oh no, now we're going to get a bunch of hate.
Everything
Okay.
should be glowing.
Our next question is from Anam, which we get a lot of questions from him. I think our last episode had one from him too, who is Anam Nadam on Twitter. He asks, when Player Studio goes live for PlanetSide 2, what role might you have in approval of what we submit?
Oh, I mean, I think it'll be like the other games we do. I mean, we're doing already player-generated material. What is it, Free Realms?
EverQuest
Not
and EverQuest 2.
Yeah. So, I mean, this stuff comes into a committee. A committee of leads or directors will look at the work as a group of people, and then it goes through approval process, and it ultimately gets bumped down the line for approval. So it'll be like our other games.
And
It'll be
so
just something
you know,
done by committee.
We gave out our first checks for that, so it's kind
Really?
of awesome. Yeah.
I did
To our
not know
players.
that. Did we put up the people's names and stuff like that, and what items they did?
I don't know if we did that, but if we haven't, we should. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff. It's a nice way for you guys to like put your own stamp on the game, and then also
It's
make
exciting
money
for
from
us
it,
too
you
as
know?
devs.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be one thing like if it was years ago where people didn't have the tools to make really cool stuff sitting on their desktops at home, but they do now.
Oh gosh.
You know, so no, I think it's great.
It's awesome.
I think it's cool.
I think it's awesome because they have a lot more time too. Some of the time.
Well, it's another way too to get your stuff shown. That's another great way to break into the business is get your stuff, you know, actually published in the game with user-generated material. Then you can attach that to a resume and show that you know how to make working parts for a game.
Keep that in mind, you guys.
I'm just saying.
Your stuff approved here.
There's so many ways.
All right, our next question is from Sturmovik Draco on Twitter, and he asks, running animations make it into the game, making it easier to identify empires. And I think what he meant by that, because I don't know if he's like fully English, he was asking if we were going to make running animations more empire specific, so that you can tell like, hey, that's a Vanu, that's a TR, that's a NC.
I know that they're even now. The name of the animation lead is Chad Licky, who's an outstanding animator and a great lead. And I know that even now they're still doing tweaks, not just on even just the run animations. I'm not sure if they're doing run animations specific to empires, but I know they're still fine-tuning things like even gun mechanics, behavior mechanics with the hands on reloads and stuff like that. So I'm not sure about the answer to that. We should probably post an answer from later on Twitter or something like that. Maybe even have Chad post an answer on Twitter.
That would be kind of cool.
If they're
Yeah,
doing
he's
like
on Twitter
faction-specific
too.
ones. Yeah.
From what I know is that we are going to be doing a lot more empire-specific animations.
Very cool.
I think that running was included in that, but I know that we are going to be doing that, which will make it a lot easier for you to identify friends and foe, and then also just look cool.
Yeah, yeah, very cool.
And new animations for reloading and stuff like that for all our new weapons, which you've gotten to see with our SMGs. Pretty rad.
Yeah, SMGs are very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Good guns too.
And our next question is from Alex at Viscerality. I don't know. Not sure.
I'm so glad you have to say these names, not me.
I know. I told people, I'm like, at some point, I'm not going to know what these people are saying.
Seriously.
This one is, will we be seeing new armor for classes eventually?
Absolutely. Yeah. As a matter of fact, we've actually started doing designs for alternate armor sets for the characters. The thing we're doing right now is making sure that we get enough options in the store for the characters so that people are seeing a steady supply of new things to buy to look unique in the game. Because we realize with this being an MMO, people feeling like individuals but still belonging to a faction and a part of a larger army is important to them. But we've actually already started doing alternate armor for the Vanu, for the TR. It's just absolutely badass. You don't even understand.
Really cool.
You don't even understand how cool the new armor is. But we've actually started doing new armor for everybody that lends itself to the Empire, that lends itself to the faction. What I'm excited about is I think there are already roles that you have in the game. I think TR Nation would agree with me that we are seen as the villains in the game. So
to some extent,
we,
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, that's the nicest way I can say it. We are we are seen as the villains, which we don't.
I think everyone. That's the great part of our like lore is that everyone has this villainous side to them, but it's reasonable. You can understand. You can relate to them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's I play TRs because I like the way their guns behave. But there's no doubt about it that after you play with them and get in TeamSpeak with 100 guys who have the same attitude as you, you definitely take on the role as a villain, which is great. But we're only villains to the people who won't allow us to tell them what to do, which makes them rebels and makes us the good guys. But we're doing some really cool armor. We're doing some really cool alternate armor. I'm super excited about the stuff because I think it does lend itself to PlanetSide 1 and I think it feels like PlanetSide 2, obviously. But I think it's kind of an alternate take that plays up the stereotype of each one of the factions. That's what I'm most looking forward to. I think that the new designs fit the lore. So yes, we're working on new armor. Super excited. I'm not sure when we're releasing it, that those decisions happen above my head, but we're very excited. If you take a look at the new armor or helmets that we're doing, it's kind of a tip of the hat of where we're going. It's darker themed, it is sci-fi military. That's pretty much the 3 keywords that we're using to design all this stuff.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think everyone agrees we want to see more sci-fi.
Yes.
People come into PlanetSide and they're like, I really want to see that sci-fi feeling and that, you know, that vibe just from looking at art. And personally, when I talk about sci-fi, I always say, look at the Vanu. Everyone always looks at them, they're like, they look so weird.
Yeah.
And they look buggish or alienish. I'm like, that's good. I want you to feel those feelings when you look at them. I want you to feel like that because that's what they are. They're odd. They're different.
Alien nanite technology. Yeah. They should look like they're borrowing from something contemporary, but have stretched and pushed the limitations of the science-fi lore. That's even the new stuff we're doing. This goes back to
what we were talking about before, where you have a foundation and then you build on it to make people kind of relate to it because they know the foundation. But then it's also still something that's different.
Yeah. Because
totally.
because the Vanu, they're like rebels. They're not. They don't think they are, but you are. You are rebels. And
we're kind of rebels in our own way.
You wear purple. That's okay.
We're intelligent rebels.
The hair, you got the hair rocking, that's cool. But I'm just saying, they should feel like rebel alien tech. They do now, but I think you can play to the original PlanetSide and play to the new one, and I think you can find a cool sci-fi military balance between them, and I think that's what we're attacking right now, and I think it plays well. I think people are going to be excited. I think we're staying within the rule set of what our factions look like, what our lore feels like, but I think that we're doing some faster lines and some more sci-fi military themes to stuff that just looks really badass.
Sweet. All right. And our next question is from Ashley APB, and she is at Ashley_APB. And she wants to know, why are the faction colors so extremely bright and pastel looking on player models? Blue, yellow, NC, red, TR, purple, turquoise for VS.
The biggest reason, and the simplest answer to give, is because when you're dealing with 3 factions and you're typically dealing with 2, you usually have, the good, not the good side of the bad side, but you have US and Russian. We had a different challenge with the characters. We had to deal with 3. Not only do you have to deal with 3, we had to deal with thousands of players on the map. So you really want to start going deep into the primary wheel on the color palette to make sure that you can quickly distinguish not just the way the characters look on a screen with the 3 continents that they're going to live on, but that the UI that supports those characters at no point really starts to intersect. So we really try to get them as far away as you could, and it gets much more difficult, even though it might not seem like it. But when you start moving that color wheel in and add one more, it's actually really hard to do. And then you have a couple of the factions whose primary colors are pretty close. They're cousins of, which is purple and red with the Vanu and the TR.
Purple is kind of in between red and blue. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you have to look at this stuff on a color wheel and you start mixing the palettes together, then you take the UI itself and you put that on a style guide, you quickly kind of see the problem you have. So we try to use a lot of neutral tones, like grays and blacks. You can pretty much find a gray on all the characters as a neutral tone to hold their form together, but then you have those primary colors to actually frame what you're seeing on a screen to match the UI. So the simplest answer would be, number one is to get the most distinguishable colors there, but what those colors also let us do is as we go forward in the future, you'll see us start using values of that color wheel. And you'll start seeing us use them in different ways, even on the stuff we're doing right now. You'll start noticing that what used to be just bright purples are flat purples, and what used to be turquoises are flat turquoises, and then we're starting to use the bright accents for things like where they emit to show the technology behind the suit. So what we're doing on the original characters, we're kind of setting things up because we knew we needed a good color wheel for the next 2 years removed past the launch of PlanetSide.
Lots and lots of items coming along.
Yeah.
All right, our next question is from Soli, NC for Life, and guess what his Twitter's at? Soli, NC for Life.
Really?
Hey, you're wearing blue.
I'm just saying. I support NC. Okay.
He's a liar. He's asking, plans for multiple faction armor sets, NC Rebel, NC Corp Elite, NC Defector, NC Merc, etc. And you kind of already talked about that. We have lots of different.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the thing about it is the roles that designs have for characters or have for players coming up They really set up a lot of the stuff that we're doing with the new character designs. You know, we have things coming in like the buggies that everybody has seen in the roadmap outlay. You know, we're doing different things with quads and different vehicles. But as the roles start to distinguish themselves in the design, you're going to see more of those roles start to distinguish themselves in the characters. So the two things will work together as the releases are made.
Cool. And our next question is from Legade at VS. Legade VS is his Twitter. And the question is, what kind of concept can we expect as far as more serious looking helmets and armor skins?
Yeah, that pretty much goes back to what I was talking about before. The stuff that we initially launched with, which we're happy with, really is, it just kind of puts together the broad scale of what PlanetSide is. And what I mean by the broad scale is, it's almost like your stereotypical Vanu, TR, and NC character. And the stuff we're doing now is we define the roles. It actually makes it easier to focus that one helmet for that one purpose, as opposed to what we really had to do at launch, which is you've kind of got these common themes for all of the armor without necessarily having a specific, even though the infiltrator is the one that can use the most unique parts, and the NC Max or the VS Max or TR Max, because they don't really share roles at any time. They're not medium-sized characters. One is stealthy and sniper nature, one is Max. The stuff we're doing now is different. The stuff we're doing now is more military themed because we're making helmets specific to the role. Spec Ops, helmet.
Yeah.
Infiltrator, special class, helmet. Combat, rogue. It's just different. We're making a helmet for each situation as opposed to a common pool theme for one faction. So the stuff we're doing now, it's a lot of fun. It's like the stuff you see up on the screen now. You're starting to get into that dark trooper type of TR gear, which we know everybody wants, but until we can facilitate those key roles at launch, we can't really drill down and get to all the cool stuff that we want to do for specific classes and roles. So all the stuff you'll see coming out is going to be what I know everybody wants, including me when I play the game every night.
Oh gosh, we all want
exactly. That. So that's the stuff you're going to see coming online.
Yeah, so look forward to that. You're going to be able to look forward to being able to customize your look for your actual position, rather than, you know, just trying to look cool.
Yeah, always digging through a common pool. Yeah, all the unique stuff is coming.
All right, this next thing is a little interesting. Blue Skies NC Emerald is asking, and he's at Blue Skies NC on Twitter. He's asking, any chance we can get the beret trucker hat or sunglasses, etc. from PS? So in the original PlanetSide, as you leveled up in Command, you got like a cool face piece for your mouth and all this kind of cool stuff, shades that made you look cool. You could basically take off your helmet to some extent.
We have all that. We have all that kind of stuff. We do have some designs planned, even now, that are hat specific, and we have some that are shade and bandana-ish and stuff like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, we have.
I didn't even know that. That's
yeah,
kinda
we
cool.
have
I'm
really
learning
cool stuff that we're talking about doing, and that we are planning on doing. It's just a matter of making sure that as we, go and teeter through all the new stuff coming out post-launch, that we get the hard armor and gear in place first, so that people have a nice selection of helmets that they can pick from. Then we're starting to get into some of the other cool stuff. Like one of the things I saw recently on our forums, on the Sony forum, was what's it called? That connoisseur. What's the name of that hat?
I'm not sure.
It's like a general hat,
oh.
and it's super cool. It's a super cool hat. So we have stuff like that planned, but it's just a matter of making sure that we have enough cool variety of helmets for all the classes first, male and female. Then we can start burning into, berets and bandanas and cool goggles and headgear.
Yeah, those are a little bit more generic, like you were talking about before.
Absolutely.
They're generic, fun-looking things.
Yeah, and they're more complementary aesthetics as opposed to, the stuff we're making now, which are, real badass Black Hawk style helmets and stuff like that. And pilot gear, cool stuff.
There's lots of cool stuff.
Oh yeah.
Art is cool is the word for today.
Oh, we have fun. We have fun.
Wolf J Havoc at Wolf J Havoc wants to know, we've got a few decals and vehicle ornaments of animals. Any chance of seeing some animal themed helmets?
I don't have anything really planned specifically that I would call animal themed. Like I can't
like
see
no
you
cat
running.
Mask
No,
running around.
I don't see any giraffe heads with bandanas. I really can't see that happening.
Oh, come on, they gotta have a giraffe bandana to put with the giraffe outfit.
I can't see any beagle heads, with Black Ops beards on them. I don't see any of those things
Someone's
happening.
gonna make a really cool concept art of of animal-themed helmet.
That would have
Send
to
it
be
him.
that would have to be under committee review.
We'll see. So he's kind of against the animal-themed helmets.
Yeah, animal stuff might be kind of goofy.
All right. Andrew HC at Jackalope13 wants to know, when playing PlanetSide 2, what faction and class do you roll with?
TR for life.
TR for life.
No doubt about it. TR for life. There is nothing like turning the map blood red. It's not just capturing territory. Every time one of those hexes turns red, it is the blood of my enemies.
He's like, victory!
But it's exactly it, victory and death. But I will say this, I do have a Vanu character that I play, and I do have an NC character that I play, because my son plays only NC.
Yeah, see, I
because
play all
he
of them.
thinks TR are the bad guys. Thank you, Adam Clegg, who told my son that TR are the bad guys
really?
in the game.
He was like,
I'm not making this up.
Nice way to...
He won't play TR.
Nice.
He won't play TR. So to play with my child, I have to play NC. So I play NC, but there's no doubt I play with TRG, which is a huge outfit that plays on Connery every night.
The Republic Guard, if you don't know.
Yes. And so I play with those guys every night. It's always TR, except for when I'm playing with my son, it's NC.
Well, at least you put family above the above the TR.
When I have to.
Oh goodness. All right. Our next question is from FlukeMan62, and he wants to know, could you please add a heavy close quarter combat infiltrator cosmetic, preferably with hoods, please?
Oh, you know what? This is when I can give a positive answer. On my schedule is a hood.
Oh, really?
Type, yes. There is going to be a hood type of aesthetic specifically for infiltrators. And there's also going to be a hood. It's actually really cool because it's a hood with some carbon fiber elements to the face mask and goggles. So there is some really cool hood stuff, and there's some very gas mask type stuff coming.
Fun.
And that stuff
we've got some of that in game with the Vanu.
Not
art.
like this is like
this is going to be like
oh
full
yeah,
on
this is like Jinro stuff. I mean, you're talking about heavy post-apocalyptic type face gear. So the sniper class stuff has more stealthy versions of gas masks with spec ops type hoods. Really, really cool stuff.
I'm looking forward to that.
That goes back to the theme of the dark military sci-fi stuff where you look at it and you get it, as opposed to the stuff that looks like it fits one size fits all. So, yes, there's stuff like that coming and it rocks.
I like when we get new answers like that. I didn't even know about the bandanas and stuff like that.
There's some fun stuff coming for the characters.
That makes me happy.
Fun stuff.
And we have another question from Andrew, and he's at Jackalope13. He wants to know, what kind of drawings do you like to do in your off time? And have you had to draw anything on napkins? Like you're just so inspired, you just have to draw it down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think I'm drawing in every meeting I do. Yeah, you do a lot of stuff on napkins, back of business cards. I've drawn on top of tables and stuff like that at meetings, even at a Starbucks, and then taken a cell phone picture of it and then cleaned up the table almost all the time, cleaned up the table. But yeah, no, you're always, there's a lot of times you're away from a tablet or away from the board and you're drawing stuff. I've actually even used SketchUp programs to do character designs on my cell phone, and then I'll just email them to myself when I'll see something like on vacation or taking time off. But yeah, definitely. When something inspires you, you just try to get it down as fast as possible and send a reminder to yourself, And artist shorthand is thumbnails, so you're always thumbnailing.
That's always interesting to hear what other people do, because I'm more of a designer / writer, so for me, I'm like just jotting down my random one sentence.
Do you guys ever try to type in your notes real fast on a cell phone?
Yeah,
oh my
I do it all the time.
I cannot type on a cell phone.
You can draw on your cell phone too.
I could rock the BlackBerry because I could feel the keys.
Oh.
But now it's the touchscreen stuff. Look at those thumbs. It just doesn't happen, man.
Well, I use swipe, so you can just, it's a lot easier.
Oh, see, I got the iPhone.
Yeah, got to get rid of that. Talk about technology. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's get off that topic. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And
it's fun.
Very inspiring. I love talking about art and stuff like that. So thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Matt.
Pleasure.
Be sure to follow him on Twitter. You want to give them your Twitter handle?
I don't even remember what it is. It's
PS_mbroome1, right? Or something like that?
Okay, that sounds right to me.
We'll get it on here so you
I'm
guys
just saying, TR for life. TR for life. I love you, son.
Don't forget to check us out. We air this every week on twitch.tv/PlanetSide2 on Friday Night Ops. So be sure to check it out and hang out with us. And have a nice weekend.
Later.
Toodles.
Sony.